The case against Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande, the two men linked to the murders of Kiernan aka Forbes and Tebello Tibz Murders, is expected to resume in the Manzini Magistrates Court this morning. Now, yesterday, the Justice and Correctional Services Ministry confirmed that a formal extradition application has been sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande were arrested at the end of last month and charged with 4 counts of murder, conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder. Now, the brothers have made several appearances already in court since that arrest. The Ndimande brothers have been kept in custody since. The extradition application will now see the two brothers being extradited back to South Africa, and they will join the 5 other suspects arrested in KwaZulu-Natal. And since their arrest, the matter has been postponed several times to afford the South African NDPP the opportunity to file the extradition application. Let's take you back now to Eswatini. Our reporter there is Nhlanhla Jele, and she is in Manzini outside that magistrate's court. Nhlanhla, any developments since we last spoke? And also, once more, talk to us about what to expect today.
Good morning to you, SK, and to our viewers at home. Indeed, we are at the court. As you can see behind me, it's still quite empty because it's still in the morning. People have not yet started making their way in. Obviously, I'm sure around 9 o'clock it's going to be traffic on this specific passage where people will be coming in, obviously, for different cases. However, on this case that we are in this morning, are we expecting to see the state prosecutor, Motsoane, bringing back the issue of the cell phones? As last time we spoke, I had mentioned that the cell phones were provisionally detained. So this is a formal application to have the cell phones detained. We know that last week the defense, Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande, opposed that application, saying to us that a formal affidavit had not been filed. However, we later heard that an affidavit had been filed. However, he continued to oppose that, saying that formal procedures have not been followed, or certain steps, rather, SK, have not been followed to ensure that certain things take place. We also do understand, as you've mentioned in your intro, that the extradition application is expected to start. Remember, every other time that we've been at this court, 3 times already, this court has been postponed because South Africa's National Director of Public Prosecutions had not formally filed that extradition application. We do know that a provisional application was made, rather, to have them or to keep the brothers in Eswatini. We do also know that on the 27th of March, it becomes a full month, and they were given 30 days to file that extradition application. But as we had said already and confirmed by the Justice Minister Ronald Lamola yesterday, that the extradition application has been sent to the Crown, which is the Director of Public Prosecutions in Eswatini. What we also do know, Sakina, is that obviously, as they present or make application with the extradition application this morning, we're obviously going to hear what the defense is going to say. Remember, all these other times he's been saying to us that they need to receive the document as well, go through it, and then look at the conditions, because they also too have conditions, citing safety as one of those conditions, saying that if they feel that the clients, or his clients rather, are not going to be safe during this extradition process, then they're going to oppose or deny this application that will be made by South Africa to have Siyabonga and Malusi back to South Africa, where we do know that they're facing 4 counts of murder, 2 including that of AKA and Tebello, and also conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder. Also, SK, another issue, he did say to us, Siyabonga Ngwenya, who is the attorney of Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande, that he also needs to look at the report or the application and then go consult with his clients. So depending on what is contained in that extradition application, obviously it's not privy to us. We're still going to hear what's contained in that application as court is going to be in process this morning. So that's some of the things that we're going to be hearing. So depending on what is contained basically in that application, SK, then it will give us an indication whether this case is going to take long, or is it going to be quick, or is it going to be take long, depending on what is contained in that application. SK?
And I think you've just about, answered part of the question that I was going to ask there, Nhlanhla, about how expeditious this particular process may be, and also where the opposition to the extradition may come from. As far as the Crown is concerned, is there any indication from their side? Because, you know, usually if you take the case of Shepherd Bushiri, for example, in Malawi, looking at the opposition to the extradition, are we likely to see something similar here, or should this be a much easier process?
You know, SK, depending on what is contained in that application, then it will determine if the case is going to be simple or is it going to be hard. Remember, the Crown, as the Justice Minister had already said, and even the Police Minister a couple of weeks said, that they have good relations with the law enforcement in Eswatini. So I'm sure on their side, they will be satisfied. However, the defense is the one that's going to come up with other measures to try and oppose this, depending on what is contained. 2 weeks ago, when we were in the same court, when this issue was raised, when they were asking for a postponement to say South Africa had not yet formally filed the application, Siyabonga, who is the defense attorney for Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande, did tell the court that they have conditions. They have 4 conditions, and one of the conditions that he cited, obviously he couldn't tell us in court, even on the side, what the other conditions are, but one of the most important conditions that he cited to us was that safety of his clients. And also, what are his clients saying, depending on what they found in this application that's going to be made here. Also, Sakina, the issue of a deportation versus extradition, it's not going to be simple. Depending on what is in the application, the matter can be solved today, it can be solved tomorrow, it can be solved in 3 years, depending on what is contained in that application that has been made by South Africa's National Director of Public Prosecutions. However, we do know that Ronald Lamola, Justice Minister, did say he's confident about what is contained in that application that has been sent to the Crown in Eswatini. So these are some of the things that we're going to be hearing, Sakina, as to what exactly is contained in that application. Is Sivesonke going to have something to oppose, depending on what is in that application?